Hello YouTube, welcome to this video, and in today's tutorial I'm going to discuss vegetation. Now previously in other videos I've kind of misused the term vegetation because all the grass and leaves and things you see in my map is not actually vegetation, it actually brushes, and vegetation is slightly different. So let me just take you over here. I haven't really used the real term vegetation. I haven't really used it much, but I have here, and it will look the same, but I'm gonna show you the differences. But what you want to do first is go to terrain, and then you want to go to vegetation. If you want to create an actual vegetation tool, then this is what you do. Add vegetation object, and then there's a list, a lot of vegetation, loads, and the previews aren't really that great. So for example, let's just say I want to use Lark C, right? Open it, open Lark C. And then I've got Lark C here, right? And the brush radius determines how much vegetation objects are going to come out at one time. So let's just put that at 10. And if I was to paint, you see it appears, but it doesn't look that realistic, does it? Because look, everything is level, trees are exactly the same height, exactly the same size, and it doesn't look realistic. So that's why you have to change the properties. So the relevant properties I'll just go through quickly. So you've got the size and the size var, and that's like the size controls how big the tree can be, and the size var is like the variation, how much it varies. So just put size var at 1, and then put the size at, I don't know, let's just say 10. Let's see how that goes. Oh, that's too big. So can you see that the trees are varying now? They're not exactly the same size, and that's just the basics of vegetation. But there's something I don't like about vegetation, because after you're done, like, you don't have much access to control it. Like if I wanted to rotate it or resize it or something, you can't really do that. And so that's the reason why I just keep vegetation on the outskirts of the map, so like the player can just view it and they're not really actually gonna walk past, sort of thing. But the vegetation I use in map is they're actually objects, they're actually just brushes. So if you wanted to, that this is the way this is just a personal preference. I'm not saying this is the right way or the wrong way or whatever. It's a personal preference. So you just go objects and natural vegetation, and every vegetation object that was previously, when I opened it over there, and it was a list, a long list, is in here as well, every single one. So if you open up the folders, you can just see all the different ones. So this is what I do, and like for example, you could just drag one out, yeah, that's a really small one, and just toggle through them really. Ooh. Some of them are pretty bad, some of them are okay, but find one that you like for that fits your terrain. Well, this up here. Rocky Ravine's a good folder. So you probably want to go in here and yeah, just find any that you like. Once you're happy, like just click, and then you can, now can you see that when I click it, I can control it. If I wanted to, I could resize it. If I wanted to, I could also rotate it how I want. Just have more control to do what you want with it. So that's the reason why I don't really like using the vegetation tool. I actually just use them as brushes. And like here, this is just on these rocks. Everywhere you see this like this form bush, it's just exactly the same form bush, just rotated and scaled. It's exactly the same. So the key to making a game environment looking good is making it look random, but you can do that using the same object. You don't have to necessarily change it to get that, to achieve that. So for example, let me just this rock here, change it. Oops, I don't know. And resize it. Let's lift it. And just leave it like that. Can you see the rock job did not great? I could make it better, but I just want to save a bit of time. And then you've got this is what I've used mostly. It's called E-form blocker, right? E-form blocker, and I've just made it look random by like resizing and stuff. So just get it, rotate it, maneuver it how you want it. And so happy, make it descend into like the cliff bit. Yeah. So that's why I like using the brushes. And also, for the using brushes, you don't necessarily have to use like if it says bush, it must be a bush. But like for example here, where I've created this cave, if you're wondering, this is not actually a bush. This is just a thin leaf tree. So let me take one of them out and lift it up, and you can see the actual trunk of the tree. But I've just tucked it away and give the illusion that it's an actual bush. And you could just use things like, because I like the way the leaves are and there's not really much of those objects, so you could just do things like that. And also, like when you're making the terrain, you might want to add the like little bits of grass hanging out and stuff like that. Like this part here is probably like the part of the terrain I like the most, right? Because I've used so much vegetation here, over here as well, and then yeah. So concerning vegetation, this is the part of the map I like the most. And if you're wondering what objects these are, it's a end rock wall. And what else? So the end rock wall is a good one to use. That's that. And H ground grass as well. So if I was to get an end rock wall, get in rock wall. And also, let me get a H brown grass too. So H brown grass. And I've only really used these two, and again just change the sizes and things like that. Actually, you don't really want to change when you're working with vegetation. I would advise not to resize. In fact, that goes for like any object except from rocks. Do not resize it, because you'll lose the sense of scale and it'll just look stupid when you're in game. So you see this? Don't resize it high, because like it just doesn't look realistic when you come in to game. Look, the little things, they're actually bigger than me. So you don't really, unless it's rocks, don't really want to be changing the size. But feel free to rotate and like mix in other objects. Like when I say mix in, I mean putting this in the middle and then perhaps rotating it. And this stuff takes time, so don't rush. I'm only doing this very quickly because it's a video and I don't want to waste time. But if I was actually doing it properly, it would take like much more time. But I'm just trying to give you like the rough idea of how to do these things. So, and then I'll just copy, Control C, do that again, get the ground grass, and so that when you spawn in the game, you've got like this little piece of grass. And that's vegetation. Thank you for watching this vid. If there's anything that you want to know, just leave a comment. Anything you just want to, just leave a comment. I'll respond as soon as possible. Okay, thanks for watching.